Ah.
Welcome to the Mizzle and Dub Show, where they know sports. If you want to know about sports, this is where you go. Welcome to the Mizzle and Dub Show, where they know sports. If you want to know about sports, this is where you go.
First down, touchdown, first down, touchdown, yeah. 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 Touchdown, yeah. Touchdown, yeah.
Well, hi. It's been a minute, but someone decided to go spend some time on the cruise and came back with some gifts and episode he's holding up one of his gifts right now, but nonetheless, episode 127 of the Mizzle and Dub Show was here. Did you miss us? Now, first off,
I wonder if they did.
First off, we apologize because we did a show to where we did not give our picks for week 10. So we apologize for that. But,
Yes.
sometimes it's okay to go live and go be on vacation. And that's what my co-host did. So first off, how was the trip? Looked like you enjoyed yourself.
It was amazing. Mexico was beautiful. It was nice. The best thing that I enjoyed out of it, though, is the boys enjoyed it. Every single part of that trip, they were engaged. They were into it. I mean, they loved the buffet, of course, and pretty much everything on the boat that was at their beck and need. They had anything they wanted. It was basically free. But no, just to see them have a good time and just be out on that water and everything, party on the ship and stuff like that. It was great. Hate that it ended, but all things all got to come to an end. So,
of course, reality,
beautiful.
Reality must set back, and you got to go back to life. And you got to go back to paying bills. That all,
of course,
all that adult crap.
But other than that, it was a great vacation, much needed.
That and a pretty good doggone sports week for you, my friend.
Hey, Sixers looking good. We chopped down that team that called themselves the U. We took the U and did it like this. So, I can't complain. Warriors are just, they're giving us the up and down, but Wardell is out there playing ridiculous lights out basketball.
He needs some help because they took a tough one on the chin tonight, losing by 6 to the Timberwolves, but he had 38, but he could not get no help from this supporting cast, which seems to be when they lose, there's no help. When they win, there's help. So that seems to be, but hey, I mean, they're playing a lot better. They're playing a lot better on the road, but it's just, everybody talks about what LeBron is doing in year 21 and the stats that he's putting up, but man named Wardell is doing some ridiculous stuff too, as he is now 35 years of age. I'm just saying. But,
well, as I was just saying to one of to TG earlier, if Embiid can stay healthy the way he's playing right now, there's no, besides what Steph is doing, them two right now to me are the two front runners for the MVP. I know the season's early and there's still a lot of basketball to be played, but them two right now are playing tremendous basketball. I mean, the big fella is out there going to work.
I still don't understand this tournament crap for the NBA Cup. I mean, I've seen the trophy. It's a very nice trophy. But why? For who? For who? For what? Why? But
We already
nonetheless,
talked about it, man. You know it's more money.
I know, but it's just you know
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
it is what it
yeah.
is. But oh wait a minute, as I was listening to you're the person that our dad loves oh so much, JT the Brick on the post
Oh,
game
Mr. the
show.
Brick, huh?
Yeah, right, that guy. But before we get into it, I've said it on other podcasts, but we haven't said it on this show. But to every man and woman that has bled,
Yes.
died, lost limbs, that have served, or that is currently serving, there will never be enough thank yous to really emphasize how much you guys put your lives on hold so that we can live our lives, and to your family that has to live with that because they sacrifice a lot too by letting you go serve and wear the colors. It doesn't matter what branch it is, be it be it I can't be it in the
Army,
Coast
Navy,
Guard,
Marines, Air
Army, Navy,
Force.
Marines, Air Force, but it was the Coast Guard that bothered me. But doesn't matter what color you were, doesn't matter what branch you went through. Um,
Yes.
your dad, our dad, my adoptive dad, as I call him, he served. Both my grandfathers
Mhm.
served. Um, our good friend
My
Maverick, who is currently
cousins.
serving right now. People we
I
know in
got a
high school that
cousin.
have served. So
Keith.
Mr. McDonough, who has served. Debo, who has served.
Debo,
Um,
yes.
so we don't take y'all for granted. We thank you for your
No,
service.
we appreciate you guys.
You
Yeah.
honor us with your bravery, your courage, and your sacrifice. So I want to get that out the way. Now, where do we start? Well, I mean, you know, we could go back to Saturday afternoon, where
Oh.
it was a dogfight in the beginning, but at the end of the day, um, regardless of what happens, the Seminoles found a way to get the win, and just even makes it more special when it just happens to be your doggone rivals in the same state, as now 2/3 of the state championship is complete. They got one more game against the Florida Gators, but Jordan Travis, and here's something that is mind-boggling in the
Yeah.
long time history of the rivalry that is Florida State and Miami. Jordan Travis is the only Florida State quarterback to beat Miami 3 consecutive times.
No
That's
shit. I didn't
insane.
even know that.
That's insane.
Wow.
But it happened.
Jameis didn't even do it?
No, I don't think Jameis did. No.
Wow.
But I think Jameis was only there for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. I think that we believe you're right there with that. Yes.
But yeah, but I mean, you look at our quarterbacks: Charlie Ward, Casey Weldon, Rex, Chris
Winky.
Winky, EJ Manuel.
Yeah.
But the only guy to do it was Jordan Travis. But
I'll
at
take
the
it. I'll take it.
but at the end of the day, Florida State, number 4th in the country, goes to 10-0. They already know they have a spot in the ACC championship game, and it's going to be a team that always gives them fits in the Louisville Cardinals. Louisville always
Yep.
plays Florida State
Yes.
tough, so we should expect that to be a tough
Always
game.
nervous.
But once again, as I've been saying all year with this Seminoles team, there's always a special teams play that gets them going.
Yep.
And this time it was Keon Coleman and his punt return that
Again.
got the Seminoles that got Florida State going. But all I can say is Trey Benson, that's a grown man.
He might be playing on Sundays.
That's that. Well, I mean, he is a junior, so the possibility of him coming out might happen. But I mean, he only ran for 80 yards, but he had some tough yardage, and he averaged 5 yards a pop. But Jordan Travis did what he had to do to keep the game alive. and the defense was very opportunistic, got the turnover at the end when they needed to. And I mean, it was a 10-10 tie at the half, but the Seminoles outscore the U 17-10 in the second half and gets enough for the win. And so now for the Seminoles, before they get to Florida, they're paying North Alabama a paycheck to come play football.
Nice little pregame before the big game. I like it. Good scheduling right there. Whoever did the schedule on that one was spot on.
And you can see that game on the
CW
Network.
Now, hold on, wait. Now, not to say that this team can come and play a football game any given Saturday. We've seen this happen before.
We have seen it. Yes.
That the team has not come to collect a check. They came to play football.
Yes.
But what have I been saying about the Seminoles all year long? They are a second half team. They seem to flip that switch in the second half. It's almost like they chill the first half, and whatever is said in that locker room in the second half, or Norvell is like, hey, it's time to turn it on now. Let's go out there and play no football. The defense steps up. As you always say, the special team steps up. It's that one play that gets it for them, and they just turn it on, and that's why they're 10-0. And it's good to be a Noah fan when you beat Miami. I can't wait for Brian and Country K to watch this. And, I already talked to little big brother, so it's just a beautiful day. Oh, I made sure while I was in Mexico to get out to them and reach out to them with that game. Oh, I did.
I'm sure you. I'm sure you did. Just to recap, what also happened Thursday, Louisville beat Virginia by 7-31-24. My Bulldogs took care of business against the Ole Miss Rebels, 52-17. Michigan made a statement. They ran, and ran some more. They only threw 8 passes in the whole entire game against Penn State. J.J. McCarthy was 7 of 8 for 60 yards.
That was a Jimmy Garoppolo type of game.
No, they did that on purpose. They purposely ran the ball on purpose against Penn State to prove a point, to really be like, you know what?
Yeah.
And I'll say this. I really don't think Jim Harbaugh had a play per se in the science thing that got fired. But unfortunately, because it was under his watch, he has to get punished. I get it. But do not think that the entire city of Ann Arbor, Michigan, do not think every Michigan Wolverine alum, and do not think that team and that coaching staff, do not think they are not going to rally around this and be like, you know what? It's us against them, and let's give them a big little finger. So with that said, they got Maryland next week. And by no stretch is Maryland, and by no means is Maryland a gimme. They're bowl eligible. They're 6-4, and Tua's younger brother can throw that rock. But don't sit there and tell me the week after that, the week of Thanksgiving, on that Saturday, when they host Ohio State, and if Ohio State still happens to be number 1, do not sit there. Do not sit there and tell me that the big house is not going to be raucous as all get down.
Oh yeah.
Especially if both teams go into that game undefeated.
Yeah, as the Hall of Fame legend Booker T would say, "Oh baby, shucky ducky, quack quack." That is going to be a game.
Oh, yeah. It is going to go down for sure, but nonetheless, Penn State Michigan beat Penn State 24-15. Alabama handled business against Kentucky 49-21. Texas Tech with the upset over 16th ranked Kansas 16-13. Red Raiders pulling off an upset. Tulane just gets Tulsa 24-22. Arizona beats Colorado. Arizona 7-3, 21st ranked in the country, as the Buffaloes have lost now 4 straight games. I'm sorry. Kansas State puts up a 50 burger on Baylor 59-25. Well, here's the thing about Colorado. They will get it right. This is just the
Yeah,
first year with Deion Sanders implementing his program. They won one game last season. They've won four.
already overachieved.
Already overachieved. Now, can they still be
Mm-hmm.
eligible and get to 6-6? Yes, they can. And if they do,
Yeah.
that's a win. Because again,
Yeah.
you were 1-11. The program was lifeless. And Colorado has a fantastic program history. They have a Heisman Trophy winner by the name of the late great Rashaan Salam, Cordell Stewart, Michael Westbrook, Eric Bieniemy. Michael Westbrook. Colorado has put out some pretty doggone good players. Okay, one of the greatest
Indeed.
big men in the history, one of the greatest big men in the history of the wrestling business, Leon White, aka better known as Big Van Vader, played at Colorado. Okay, there have been some tremendous players that have come out of Boulder, Colorado to play on Sundays. This is a proud program,
Indeed.
and Dion has brought life and excitement back to Boulder, Colorado. So, if they get eligible, that's a step into 2024. But
Yeah.
kudos to the Wildcats of Arizona, 7-3 on the season. Um, it was a dogfight in Seattle. The Utes gave Washington everything they could handle, but at the end, Washington
That was
survives
the
to remain
thing.
number 5 and remain undefeated, beating the Utes 35-28. Missouri lays the smackdown on Tennessee 36-7.
Mm.
Oklahoma State, who came off the big win in Bedlam against Oklahoma, lay an egg against Central Florida. Central Florida lays the smackdown 45-3 on Mike Gundy's
Oof.
squad. Yeah,
Oof.
that's not the way you want to come back after you beat Oklahoma in the last Bedlam game, as we know it to be.
Yeah.
So, Iowa shuts out Rutgers 22-0. West Virginia loses to Oklahoma emphatically 59-20. Ohio State takes care of business against Sparty 38-3. Bevo gets by TCU 29-26. LSU thrashes Florida 52-35. And normally known for basketball, but Duke and Carolina going to 2 overtimes, and it's the Tar Heels getting the win over the Blue Devils 47-45. And Bo Nix continuing to make his way. Right now, it might be a Pacific Northwest battle for the Heisman Trophy between Michael Penix and Bo Nix as Oregon beats
I don't disagree with that.
USC 36-27. USC now down to 7-4. Oregon at number 6 at 9-1. So the playoff stuff will come out on Tuesday. But as far as the AP goes, in the AP polls, Georgia's at 1, Michigan's at 2, Ohio State's at 3, Florida State's at 4. Again, that's the AP poll. It's really not the be all to end all. What they want to count is what comes out on Tuesday with the college football playoff, and we'll see what happens there. For the Bulldogs, they can't take the Volunteers lightly because I'm pretty sure Tennessee is going to come back with the bigger after getting thrashed by Missouri. So you got to take that seriously. And you're playing Knoxville, over 100,000 plus. You know that fan base is going to be rowdy. But it was great to see number 19. It was great to see number 19 back out there for Georgia. Brock Bowers was back out there doing what he does. Yeah,
Nice.
He returned and he made himself known. But again, it still starts with the run game. Edwards and Milton, but it was Milton that had the big day, 9 carries for $127. Carson Beck was very good with the ball, took care of it. But Bowers had 3 catches for 33 yards and found the end zone. So we know once again that it will be Georgia and Alabama for the SEC title in Atlanta. So
yet again,
we know that's going to happen. Despite the fact that Alabama has challenges, they still remain to be 9-1, which is quite an amazing job by Saban.
They got a hell of a quarterback.
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do. It seems like that Milroe has gotten comfortable, and he feels like that it's his team now. So we will see what happens in December. Okay, why the heck did the thing just go dark? Really?
Oh boy!
Come
Seems
on,
like
man.
we're having
really
some technical difficulties, but you are still heard. If you can hear me, you are still heard.
No, I can hear you, but I'm just like, why? But I'm just like,
No.
why in the hell did the dang computer go off? You know what? Anyhow, yeah. So we know that Florida State's in the ACC title game. Georgia is in the SEC title game against
SEC.
Alabama, but also, yeah, but also SEC, but also, shout out to UNLV. They took care of business against Wyoming, 8-2,
Man.
and with San Jose State beating Fresno State last night.
Oh
UNLV
boy.
is now in second place in the Mountain West Conference, which right now Air Force has the conference lead. Now there's a possibility that UNLV could play in the conference championship game and actually host the game against what would be Air Force. So I think it's the top two in that conference that get to play in the championship game. So, but I mean, I don't think the diehard UNLV football fans would think that Greg Odom would do what he did in his first season.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he did not come into an empty cupboard. I mean, Coach Arroyo left some talent in there, and for whatever reason, he got the best of him. Now, this upcoming Saturday, UNLV plays Air Force, so this possibly could be a preview of the championship game. Both teams coming in at 8-2. This could be a dandy.
I'm picking Air Force. I'm picking UNLV. Excuse me. I'm gonna ride with UNLV on this one. I think they might have the defense to do it.
Well, they're giving Air Force 3.5 because I mean you would think it might be cold in the elements in the altitude in Colorado Springs, Colorado, where of course the Air Force Academy is at. Game time weather is scheduled to be 46 degrees, so we shall see. Yeah, that's a little bit tad bit nipply, as you would say.
Oh yeah.
But nonetheless, back to Thursday night. The Bears got enough of Dante Foreman to get the win over the Panthers 16-13, as Eddie Pinheiro missed the last-second field goal to try and tie the game. So the Bears get their third win of the season, as the Panthers still one win short. But today was about comebacks and walk-off field goals in week 10 of the National Football League. But first,
good battles today, man.
Yes.
Good battles today.
But first we will start off in Frankfurt, Germany, where some people don't like to take a pleasure in people's misery, but when it comes to Bill Belichick, I'll take it.
He's gone after this year. He's gone.
As the Patriots have fallen to 2-8, the Colts are 5-5. As the Colts just got enough to beat the Patriots 10-6, to where Mac Jones gets benched for Brady Zappi, and Zappi throws an interception, and the Colts, Shane Steichen, man of the ways, the Colts are 5-5, and finally, they decide to throw Michael Pittman Jr. the doggone football, which I've been asking for, not for just fantasy football purposes, but Michael Pittman Jr. is a tremendous talent at wide receiver.
Yes, he is.
He's one of your playmakers. Get the guy the ball, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
But he had 8 catches for 84 yards. Taylor ran for 69 yards. They had the only touchdown in the game. Colts go to 5-5. Patriots go to 2-8. And I mean, the demise of the Patriots continues. But again, as I've been saying, who are the Patriots before Tom Brady got there? Who were they? Sprinkling some playoff seasons here and there, but most of their history, they've been very, very sucky. But and I said, once Brady left, I said, and I quote, and I possibly said this on the show somewhere, because I mean we have 126 episodes that you can go through, and I've said probably more than once, don't be surprised that once Tom Brady leaves, the Patriots start sucking again. Lo and behold, they're sucking again. They're 2-8. Perhaps maybe the shocker of the day in the NFL. Any other season, Dan Campbell would flat out be the NFL Coach of the Year. But right now, it has to be D'Amico Ryans. What he's doing in Houston, Texas. CJ Stroud definitely playing like he is the Rookie of the Year as he leads another last-minute drive. And kudos to the Bengals. The Bengals were down 10, came back.
Yes.
But before the Texans or before the Bengals tie the game, Taj Boyd, you can't drop that pass. Joe Burrow put it right on the money. You were by yourself in the end zone. And as our dad said, hit you in the wrong spot. Hit him right smack dab in the hands. That's a catch you got to make. Catch. Touchdown. And it's Cincinnati at 6-3 as opposed to 5-4. But CJ Stroud showing his true grit and guts again. And Devin Singletary. Welcome, sir. 30 carries. I'm going to say that he carried the ball 30 times. That's old school NFL. 30 carries, $150, 5 yards a carry, and a touchdown. Playing huge in the absence of Dameon Pierce. As Texans, 5-4. And right now, a game back of the Jaguars in the AFC South. D'Amico Ryans doing a fantastic job. And if you're the Bengals,
are we shocked though, my brother? Are we shocked that D'Amico Ryans
about D'Amico Ryans? About D'Amico Ryans? Absolutely not. No.
Yeah. No. We absolutely said this on the show the moment he got hired, and then you can go back, like my brother said, on probably 126 episodes. Well, not 126, the full ones, but CJ Stroud. I said he was going to be a star. I said it. Look at him now. I mean, he didn't throw an interception for how many games before he finally threw his first one?
True.
They've been in damn near been in every game. I think they probably maybe got blown out once or twice. But the defense, whatever, it's almost like looking at Dan Campbell all over again. You know, we saw what Dan Campbell did with the Lions. You know, former player, now coaching. I don't know. D'Amico Ryans played for the Texans. Former player, now coaching, and I know we'll talk about my team later. Antonio Pierce, former player, now
Super Bowl
coaching,
champion.
But yeah, exactly. So definitely not shocked what's going on in Houston. I thought it may have been like maybe next year, third year, kind of, but no. They're buying into whatever D'Amico Ryans is preaching. He got that defense playing lights out. So not shocked about what I'm seeing with the Houston Texans right now.
The culture is changing in Houston, Texas, and like I said, it's not surprising. It's not surprising that he is the guy to do it.
Of course,
it's just amazingly. It's just amazing of how he is doing it. It's just amazing. There's really nothing more you can say. It's just. It's mind-boggling to see how it's going on. Well, old school football, close game.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how he does it, but again, Mike Tomlin is the gift that keeps on giving, and the Pittsburgh Steelers go to 6-3. They get
I'd have for sure picked that game. I'd have told you I'd have picked that game. I'd have picked Mike Tomlin. I wouldn't have went against Mike Tomlin against the Packers. Now, if we would have went with, you know what we should have did? We should have did the what if picks. And I would have picked, honestly, even win or lose, I'd have been honest with my picks. I wouldn't have sat here and say, yeah, I'd have picked that one but just for
I definitely would have lost the Bengal Texans game because I picked Cincinnati, which I did pick on the Talking Ish with Dub and Chris that you can catch on the Vegas Hype Media Network.
I'd have probably picked the Bengals as well, just because it would have been close. I wouldn't have been shocked if the Texans won this game. Like I'm not.
And I said the same thing.
I kind of would have ran with the Bengals.
I definitely would have picked the Colts with the Patriots.
Definitely. Definitely with the Colts. Yeah.
I definitely was not going against Tomlin, which once again,
nope.
That seems to be hazardous for your health when you go against Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
But again, the Steelers get outgained, and also prayers to Quan Alexander, Steelers linebacker, torn ACL, gone for the season. Makes the great interception to seal the win against the Titans, then gets injured. So prayers to him in his recovery. But the Steelers are playing their old school way. They are attacking the ball with the run. Jalen Warren, 100 yards rushing. Najee Harris, 82 yards rushing. Steelers ran for 205 yards as a team. And, of course, that's old school Steeler football. Run the ball. Kenny Pickett, take care of the ball. And just get enough scoring and just get enough defense. And you come away with a 23-19 win over the Packers. Old school football. And, of course, when it comes down to it, Packers had 2 turnovers. Steelers had none. There's your difference in the ball game. Even though, despite the fact that the Packers went 8 for 16 on third down conversions, but when you turn the ball over twice, that normally tends to be the difference in the game. And the Steelers go to 6-3. And as always with this team, it's always which version of Baker Mayfield are you going to get? And today, they got the good version of Baker Mayfield as the Buccaneers beat the Titans 20-6. As Mayfield was 18-29 for 278 and 2 TDs and 1 interception. Derrick Henry was stuffed by the Bucs defense, 11 carries, 24 yards on the ground. Mike Evans, 6 receptions, $143 and a touchdown. And the Buccaneers, he definitely ate today. And if you had him in fantasy, he definitely got you. He got you some points today in fantasy. And for the Titans, things like this will happen for Will Levis, but I think he'll bounce back and he will be fine. But nonetheless, win goes to the Buccaneers. And they end their losing streak. And it seems like nobody wants to win the NFC South, which we thought it was going to, with the exception of the Panthers. But between the Saints, the Falcons, and the Buccaneers, I mean, somebody's going to get a home playoff game, whoever decides to win this game. But we said that maybe
that's crazy.
Maybe that 9 wins or 8 wins might win you this division, which is insane to think. But I mean, it's just it's hard to fathom because I mean, really, the division is really up for grabs. No one's running away with it.
Yep.
And when you think you know something, you don't know something. But maybe perhaps the other game of the day took place in Baltimore, Maryland, where it did not look good for the Browns in the first half.
Wow.
It was 17-9. It seemed like Baltimore was having their way. And then Deshaun Watson and the Browns, but more specifically, the defense of the Browns clamped on the Ravens in the second half. They outscored the Ravens 24-14 in the second half. And normally when you miss an extra point, normally that comes back to bite you. It was after the pick 6 by Newsome. Dustin Hopkins misses the PAT. You're thinking, oh boy, that might hurt the Browns. But nonetheless, Deshaun Watson finds a way to get the job done. But Jerome Ford, 17 carries for $110 on the ground to lead the Browns. Amari Cooper made some clutch catches. Kareem Hunt found the end zone, but it was Njoku, Elijah Moore playing huge dividends in the passing game. And again, I've been saying this all year. I even said this on our previous show. I said the Cleveland Browns are my dark horse team that scares me. And I've been saying all year long, the Browns defense is legit. Jim Schwartz has done a tremendous job with that defense. And like I said, realistically, the Browns really should be 7-2. I've been saying this. Like I said, they gave away the game against the Steelers on Monday night, but they really should be 7-2. But now they just sit a half game back of the North. Baltimore 7-3, Cleveland is 6-3. The Ravens have one more win. They split the season series. I'm telling you, the dog pound, Kevin Stefanski and Jim Schwartz, they got something going. And again, I say trading for Zadarius Smith to team him up with Myles Garrett has been a godsend for Myles Garrett. But again, kudos to the Browns, a tremendous comeback. And I'll say this: the orange pants work better than the brown pants for the Cleveland Browns, and I'll just stop it at that right there. But
Yeah,
huge win for the Browns.
but
And I'll tell you
that
what,
division we said was going to be a
the best
very
division
hard
in football.
division. That
Yes.
they were gonna beat each other up, and they were just gonna come down to maybe week 16, 17 to figure out who is actually going to win that division. And I don't see the Browns backing down. You know, we don't go against Mike Tomlin. The Ravens are going to be up there. Hell, the Bengals are, you know, even though they lost today, they're still going to be right there. This division is just loaded.
Yeah.
And it's fun to
But
watch.
what's hurt the Bengals right now is their conference record. Out of all the teams in the AFC conference, the Bengals and the Bengals and the Broncos have the worst conference record. They're both 1-4 in their against the conference.
Ooh.
And that really really might hurt. And that really might hurt Cincinnati and their chances to try and get back to the playoffs. Because right now, technically speaking, the only reason why Baltimore's in first place is because they have 7 wins. But if you go by the division record, the Steelers are 2-0 in the division. They've beaten Baltimore. They've beaten Cleveland.
Yeah.
And so now
that changes some things.
So now, which I mean, I kind of don't want to pre-do it, but I mean, since we're talking about this division, but now, if you're the Bengals and the Ravens, you got to wipe it off because you're playing each other on Thursday night, which could be a damn dandy of a football game.
Woo! And guess what? Nope, I'm not off Thursday. That's my first. That's the first day I go back to work.
Of course it is. Go figure. But anyhow,
right?
I mean
I'll be listening to it though.
But that's just something to look at when you're looking at this AFC North division. Well, I don't know what is going on in Lake Minnetonka in the Twin Cities, but perhaps the greatest football story of 2023 has been Joshua Dobbs.
Wow! Yes.
Last week he comes off a la Baker Mayfield, not knowing his teammates, not knowing no plans or nothing, comes back
no
and
names or
the
nothing.
Falcons.
Yeah.
Then pulls one out of the hat again, as the Vikings have now won 5 straight, and now the Vikings are back in the thick of the playoff hunt. They're 6-4. No Kirk Cousins. The Vikings did enough in the second quarter, which they basically went on a 21-0 run. It was 24-3 at the half, and the Vikings held on just enough to beat the Saints 27-19. Jameis Winston had to come in relief as Derek Carr hurt his shoulder and had a concussion, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he took
so
a
we
lick.
will check the status of him. But TJ Hawkinson, have yourself a game, young fella. 11 catches, $134, and a touchdown. And again, the Vikings are doing this without their all-world receiver in Justin Jefferson. Yeah. Now just think, you add him back to this lineup. Then you got, of course, unfortunately, Cam Akers for the season. He tore his Achilles. So prayers to him in his recovery. But I don't know. I mean, it seemed like the Vikings were going to be left for dead after Kirk Cousins tears Achilles on a non-contact play. Then they trade for Joshua Dobbs. You thinking Dobbs is not going to play. Then Hill, who got the start, who gets concussed. Then here comes Dobbs. His story is amazing. They might need to make this season into a movie of his, the former Tennessee quarterback. But the Vikings get the win, 27-19 over the Saints. In the Battle of Birds, Kyler Murray makes his return, leads the Cardinals to a game-winning drive, as they get their second win of the season, go to 2-8, 25-23 over the Falcons. But I'm glad Arthur Smith decided to give Bijan Robinson the chance to run the football, and he had 22 carries for 95 yards and a touchdown.
Go figure.
But unfortunately, Tyler Heineke hurt his hamstring, to which Ritter had to come in again in relief, which is unfortunate. Which again, the numbers of Drake London and Kyle Pitts suffer, but Kyler Murray, first day back, not bad. Luckily, James Carter had 73 yards on the catch, but Trey McBride, 8 catches, a $131. He has become he's had a very nice rookie season. The man from Colorado State. But the Cardinals get their second win of the year, 25-23 on a Matt Prater last second field goal, and get the win. Perhaps the game of the day took place in Inglewood, California, as the Detroit Lions ran up, down, and through the Chargers defense. Gibbs 77 yards on the ground. David Montgomery 116 yards on the ground. Jared Goff throws for 333. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who went to college at USC, came back home, 8 catches, a $156, and a TD. The Chargers gave it a valiant effort. Herbert 300 yards passing, 4 TDs, 1 INT, and the just continued mastery of Keenan Allen, 11 catches, a $175. Yeah. Give me some fantasy points, young man. But once again, the Chargers always find a way to charger, and the Lions at the end kick game-winning field goal, get the win, 41-38. Ladies and gentlemen, the Detroit Lions are 7-2. I'm gonna say that again. I'm gonna speak it to the mic. Yeah. I'm gonna say this again. The Detroit Lions. Yes, the Detroit Lions are 7-2. And right now, they are the number 2 seed in the NFC. So, if we were playing under the old rules, that means they would also have a first round bye along with the Eagles.
Yeah.
But as it stands, the Lions will at least get 2 home playoff games. But Dan, like I said, any other year, Dan Campbell hands down would be the coach of the year.
Yeah.
But since the birth of this show 3 years ago, we've been saying the Lions are coming, the Lions are coming, the Lions are coming. And this particular game was a national game. You have the number 1 CBS broadcast team there, so you had Nance and Romo calling that game. So if you have not had a chance to see the Lions on a national stage other than Thanksgiving, they've been on the national stage 3 times this year. Beat the Chiefs, beat the Raiders, and now they've beaten the Chargers. And it's a very favorable schedule for the Lions down the stretch because most of their games are division foes. And I think the only above 500 team they're playing is the Vikings and the Saints. But you got 2 against the Packers, 2 against the Packers, 2 against the Bears, and the Vikings. So it's mainly division games.
They still got to play the Broncos. They still got to play the Broncos.
Yeah. No, I was talking about above 500 teams. I think the only 500 teams that have to play is the Vikings, the Saints, and the Cowboys later on in December.
Wait, did they play the Broncos already? I think they played them in Denver already, didn't they?
No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't play. They don't play Denver until December, which might be a flex game.
Okay.
So the game might be a Saturday game or a Sunday game. They haven't figured it out yet. But,
okay.
Well, I mean, here's the Lions schedule down the stretch. So they have the Bears next week at home. Then the Packers on Thanksgiving. Then the Saints they both play in Dumb, but the Saints go to New Orleans. Then the Bears again. Then the Lions. Then 2 out of the next 3 weeks, the close season, they play the Vikings twice, and then the Cowboys in between, which the Cowboys game is a ESPN ABC game. So the Lions have a chance
to them getting to maybe 11 wins. 10, 11 wins.
Well, yeah,
It's doable.
yeah. I think 10, 11 wins is doable, but I think
Yeah.
they possibly could get to 12. You never know. But like I said,
Oh, yeah,
they're coming.
that's true too.
They've been coming. We've been promoting them on
Oh,
the
yeah.
show all 3 years. We've been
Yeah.
on the air, so this is
Yeah.
not surprising. The Cowboys sweep the Giants. 89-17 was the
Go
score in both
figure.
those games.
Go figure. I would like to know their record with a playing against a team above 500.
Well, if you want to go there, let's see. So, okay. Well, to answer your question, they've only played 2 games against teams over 500, and they lost both those games. One was obviously to my team on Sunday night, to the point to where I actually took a nap because the game was. And the other loss was last week against the Eagles. Wow. We don't like to always blame the refs, but the refs have some BS calls in that game between the Cowboys and Eagles.
Yeah.
However, Dak Prescott, you cannot step out of bounds at the 2-yard line when you're going for 2. How do you not know that? Okay. Now, with that said, to answer your question, the 2 games against above 500 teams they played, they lost. So, again, Bill Parcells always meant, and Bill Parcells came up with a famous quote, "You are what your record is," and that is true. The schedule is what the schedule is. You play your schedule. It is what it is. At the end of the day,
Facts.
they're 6-3. That's a fact. They, in the beginning, it seemed like they were playing down to their competition, but Dak threw for 404 yards. Dowd was the leading rusher, and I've been asking them to get Brandon Cooks more involved in the offense, and I guess Mike McCarthy heard me. 9 catches for $173 and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, 11 catches, $151 and a touchdown. Now, Michael Gallup had 2 catches for 70 yards and a touchdown. Now, if they can play offense like this to complement Micah Parsons and that defense, the Cowboys could possibly do something. Or will Jerry Jones get in the way again like he always does? That remains to be seen. But at the end of the day, Cowboys beat the Giants 49-17. And I'm going to ask this question I asked Chris on Saturday. Do you think Brian Dable has lost the locker room in East Rutherford, New Jersey?
No, I just think they need to get a different quarterback. Daniel Jones is just not that guy. He got paid. Well, he can make all the throws, but he's just not that guy.
He's out for the season.
Oh, he is out for. I did not know that.
Yes. No, Tommy DeVito got the start today.
Oh, excuse me for not knowing that because I was out of cellular range and couldn't get updates. Yeah, but okay, but still, I don't think they still need to find a different quarterback.
Okay. Well, a very entertaining game in the Pacific Northwest, as on the last second, Myers kicks the field goal as the Seahawks barely get by the Commanders 29-26. Sam Howell just continues to play good ball. He threw for 3 TDs, threw for 312. Geno threw for 369, had 2 TDs. Metcalf 7 catches for 90 yards. Mr. Robinson was doing both running and catching the ball. He had 6 catches for $119. But at the end, it was the Seahawks getting the win as they improve their mark to 6-3. But some people think that the Seahawks are fraudulent 6-3. But again, 6-3 is 6-3.
6-3, yeah.
It's 6-3. Now, as you can see under my moniker, I kept saying RELAX, and football season is a bunch of ups and downs. And for those that were crying that the sky is falling, because my beloved football team that I love, that wears red and gold, lost 3 straight games. I kept saying
it happens.
They needed to face some adversity because,
Mm-hmm.
with the exception of the title game to where they didn't have a quarterback, what happened? They've been winning. Everything was hunky dory. Everything was kumbaya. They hadn't got punched in the mouth. It started with the Cleveland Browns. They got punched in the mouth. Then McCaffrey fumbles the ball in Minnesota, and they were playing uphill since. Then against Cincinnati, they were in the game. They were down 7. They were about to tie the game. Purdy throws a costly interception. Now, everybody today wants to talk about, well, Steve Wilkes needed to come out of the booth. You were not saying that when they were 5-0. You weren't. And if they were 8-0, you still wouldn't be saying that. So, again, yeah, him not being in the booth, they needed a bye. They needed to get to their bye week.
Yeah.
They needed to get
Yeah.
healthy and rested. And it showed today that they got back to their old self. Now, was I expecting them to dominate the Jaguars like that? No, because the Jaguars are a good young football team, and they came off their bye week and they won 5 straight games. So I was definitely not expecting them to just thrash the Jaguars like that. Am I pleased? Obviously, duh. Who wouldn't be if you beat a solid team by the final score of 34-3? And again, Trent Williams return, huge step. Deebo Samuel return, it was huge. And what happened? Brock Purdy spread the ball out to everybody and not just relying on Brandon Ayuk. That's what happens when you have your full arsenal healthy, and thus you can be harmonizing with your offense. Now,
Yeah.
I would have not made that throw to Brandon Ayuk on the touchdown, but it worked. Sometimes that happens when you're good. Sometimes you just get the lucky bounce of the ball. But I mean, Hargraves had a strong game today. Bosa seemed to be happy and buddy with Chase Young. Chase Young had a very nice debut. The Niners defense as a whole, 5 sacks. Fred Warner looked like he was healthy again. But the important piece on defense that really looked healthy was Dre Greenlaw. I mean, I know a lot's been said about Fred Warner, and rightfully so. But at the same time, when Dre Greenlaw is healthy and can complement Fred Warner, when he's healthy, it's a whole different defense. Now, again, secondary still suspect. Secondary still scares me. But when you're getting pressure with 4 and 5 at a time, and at times today they played with a 5-man line, but when you got Hargraves and Armstead up the middle, and then you have Gregory and Bosa and Young on whatever side they want to be on, gives you a good chance to scheme up. And Sunshine, for the first time in a long time, looked confused, looked flustered, looked frustrated, and kudos to them. They did what they were supposed to do. They took care of the ball. So now, you come back home, you play the Buccaneers, and you don't look past
that. Should be good.
Yeah,
that should be decent.
You don't look past Tampa, because this is your stretch to where it's the Seahawks, Ravens, and Seahawks again. Because you're going to Seattle for Thanksgiving, which is the Thanksgiving nightcap on Thanksgiving night, and luckily I'll be off by then to watch them play. However,
nice.
Good win for them to get back in the winning ways. They're still in first place by way of their division record. So, like I said, relax. Football season is up and down. You're going to win. You're going to lose. It was going to happen. So now they look like they're ready to go for the stretch run and try to fight for the number 1 seed. And let's see what the chips fall where they may. So, good win for them and all of their stuff and whatnot. But now, as we head on over, what the world? Come on now. But nonetheless, there was another game that was played on Sunday night that we just watched about 3 hours ago. And it was an old school defensive battle, but at the end of the doggone day, what it came down to was this: a team that found the end zone was going to win the game, and the Raiders found the end zone. And the Raiders get the win 2-0 under Antonio Pierce, as They get the win 16-12 over the East Rutherford Jets. And there's a very big happy mug filled with Michelob Ultra. But I mean, Antonio Pierce made it clear he wanted Josh Jacobs to be the
Run
bell
the damn football.
Indeed, the ball was ran, and ran some more. A total of 27 carries for 116 yards. But the impressive touchdown, which that was all Aiden O'Connell, who found a way to, and Aiden O'Connell found a way, kept the play alive, and threw an absolute perfect pass to only where his tight end from Notre Dame could make the catch, because either Michael Mayer was going to catch it or it was going to sail out of the end zone. But not only that for Michael Mayer to get the feet in, because that catch was all hands. That catch was all pure hands.
Yeah. That's straight Moss.
But yeah, he did Moss. I forgot the freaking defender's name, but I mean the defense was there, but just a perfect pass, great hands, got the feet in, and again, but again, not only that, but Robert Spillane, right place, right time. Then announces to the world that the Spillanes are having a baby. Baby number one's being born in June. But I mean, Spillane has. I'll say this: Robert Spillane has been a fantastic signing for the Raiders this offseason.
He's been consistent. He's been slightly consistent.
I mean, last week he had a damn club on his hand playing the game. The club came off.
He's playing with a broken hand. He's playing with a broken hand.
But he leads the team with interceptions. He's got 3 of them. That's his 3rd interception of the year. But just the way he read the route, step in front, and I mean, he caught that like he was a tight end, because I mean that was just all hands.
He easily could have 5. He's dropped 2. He has dropped 2. He easily could have 5.
But
I
mean,
this game was like I said, an old school AFL type of feel. Like Pierce said, we're going to run the ball. He wanted to run the ball. He was going to lead with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs answered the call, even though he could have cost us with 2 fumbles. He did lose 1, but the defense picked him up. And it's good to see them smiling again. It seems like football is back fun in Vegas. It just seems like that they're whatever AP is spilling to them. They already came out and all said they want to run through a wall. Hell, I said I wanted to put some pads on and run through a wall for them. So
yeah, you did.
We got a tough game next week, because we are going down to Miami, and they're coming off a bye, so they'll be well rested. Yeah,
but something that JT the Brick said though, which is a true statement, is the fact that Miami is not a physical team. They're very much finesse. And if you can hit them, they are suspect to not play soft, but not playing up to their capabilities. So, I mean, yes.
You got to stop Tyreek Hill, man. Got to stop
that is
Waddle.
True. That is true.
I mean,
you definitely
Mostert is running pretty damn good.
But, well, okay, I'll say like this. I think with who they have in place now, I think they'll have the right mindset going into Miami.
I agree. I think Pierce will have them pumped up, ready to go.
I agree.
I think he'll bring, and you know what? Let's talk about kudos to the offensive coordinator with that trick play on 4th down. Everybody thought the little friendly push was coming, and oh and behold, a little Ruski. And what did I tell you? And you asked me what needed to change. I said they needed to get creative. That was a creative play. That brought juice. That kept it going. They're doing what AP is saying. They wanted to get Devontae Adams started early, and they wanted to feed Josh Jacobs, and everything else falls in peace. He stuck to the game plan. And kudos to Patrick Graham. He altered the defense a little bit. And what did I also say? protect the edges. Don't let Zach Wilson get out and get loose. I mean, that was old school Raider football right there. AFL type field type football between two good franchises that play good. That the Jets got a top 5 defense.
Yes, they
and
do.
We started
yes.
a rookie quarter, and we started a rookie quarterback. And yeah, they sacked him, but he didn't lose any focusness. He didn't get rattled. The delivery to Michael Mayer, you said, the catch and the sharpness pass that he threw to Devontae Adams, and how he was hitting Jacoby Myers, and just kudos to Josh Jacobs because he's just that guy. Like I said, I'm happy. I'm happy. It's just good to see competitive football, which I've been asking for. Now the stretch gets hard for us because we got the Dolphins, Chiefs, and I can't remember a few other teams coming up. So the stretch is going to get hard, but I believe they will be competitive in each game. I won't sit here and have to be like, oh my God, can McDaniels coach himself out of a porta potty? No, I don't have that feeling anymore. I believe that this team can go out there and play good football. They need to sharpen up on the tackling because they let Brees Hall get loose a little bit. All soft coverage on Wilson. They're going to have to get real sticky with Tyreek Hill, Waddle, and everybody else. They're going to – McDaniels is a excellent play caller, and he'll probably find any slip in our defense. But just kudos to tonight and how everything came together. Special teams played well. Defense played well. The offense played well in certain spots to get us in field goal position to keep us close and then get that one touchdown to give us the lead. So all smiles over here, man. It was a good, like you said, for me, a good sports week. I'm not throwing my helmet down like Devontae Adams did on Monday Night Football. And it's good to see him dancing and smiling. That's how I want to see my star receiver. I never, ever want to see him slamming his damn helmet on national TV on the sideline. That's how you treat your star receiver. I already told you. My Mark Davis, pay attention. You had this with Bisaccia. And you went the different way. Pay attention and listen to your players. You already did when you fired McDummy. If your captains are coming to you saying we're running through a wall for this guy, give him a 2-3 year deal. Let's just see. Let's see what he can do. And I'm even okay with keeping Champ. Hell, let's break the barrier. Do what your dad would have done.
Well, look at it like this. Okay. And it's a good thing you mentioned Al, because I was going to segue into Al. And of course, you and I can do a whole show about what Al Davis has meant to football.
Don't get me started on Al Davis, even though some people in the fan base hate Al Davis.
And
not this guy.
And not the opportunities he has given to people. Okay, you look at it right now. The Raiders have a black woman as president, black man as GM, be it interim, black head coach, albeit interim. Now,
already broke the barrier. We already broke it.
Let's
again.
Now let's check the history box. First female to be CEO, Amy Trask.
Amy Trask, indeed.
First American to be head coach, Art Shell. First Latino to be a head coach in the Hall of Fame, Tom Flores. Which Art Shell is also in the Hall of Fame. Okay, Gene Upshaw, who played for Al, was part of the Player Association for many years up until he passed away. Okay, so there's always been diversity and hiring the opposite sex, if you will, within the Raiders organization. Now, people may talk crap about them and give them crap because their play on the field has been crappy, rightfully so. However, there has never been an issue about having quality people in his organization. And that's one thing that Mark has continued to do, that Al has done since Mark has taken over the team after the Maverick passed away in 2011. And again, I agree. Bisaccia had the pulse of the locker room, along with Mike Mayock in 2021, and they rallied to go 10-7 and took the eventual AFC champion Bengals to a fourth down play in that wild card game.
Yep.
And in a sense, it felt like he kicked Raider Nation in the balls by going the McDaniels route. So now,
Oh, he did. He did.
So now, he heard his captains, he heard his players saying it's like walking on eggshells with them. And it was like, well, you know what? Okay, I hear you. And they all gave the confidence to AP, and AP has been ready for this. AP was under Herm Edwards and Marvin Lewis
Great
at Arizona
coach.
State.
Great coach. Great coach.
Which
Great
I
coaches.
believe, to which I believe Antonio Pierce played his college ball at Arizona State. I possibly not, I could be wrong, but I think he went to ASU if I'm not mistaken.
Would have put it past me.
So I mean that's his alma mater. But again, he's from Compton. Grew up a Raider fan. Wore the hat. Wore the starter jacket. Wore, NWA and all that stuff. So it's not like it's not like he doesn't know about the brand. And he went to Arizona, so not ASU, but he played for the Wildcats. But nonetheless,
You was in the right state. You was in the right state.
He learned under Herm Edwards and Marvin Lewis about the field of coaching. Then came to coach the linebacker. Like I said, been to the Pro Bowl, been to won a Super Bowl, so he knows. He knows how to do it. So, with that said, he's not that much. He's not that far removed from the game. His last season he played was in 2009, so he can understand and identify with the players and adapt to whatnot. When you have a head coach that does the unison chant, and you know what the unison chant is if you're a member of Raider Nation, when he does that,
just read
it. when he does that, that's a guy saying, I know the brand, I know what Raider Nation is, I know what this fan base is, I know the history of this team. So again, it is always tough going into South Florida and playing when it's humid, which I'm pretty sure the Dolphins will make the Raiders wear their black jerseys because they normally
black
do.
Jerseys, yep.
Which they normally do when they go out there during whatever part of the season it is. But I think they have the right guy to make them not take this for granted and make them not be lethargic, if you will. So
I agree.
We will see what happens. So
before we move on, let me say something about last week's game because I was on the boat and we couldn't discuss it or anything like that. But I want to talk about the owner of the Raiders. If anybody saw Mark Davis walk out that tunnel before the game started, first of all, he got a fresh haircut. Okay, the bowl cut is gone. Okay, so out with the old, in with the my man was walking out that tunnel with swag. He reminded me of Al. I'm like, oh, this motherfucker means business. When he fired Ziegler and McDaniels, so he understand now. Dub, he literally, if I wish I could find the video and I will send it to you. I think I did. Mark got a swag going. I don't know what's going on. A light switch must have hit. He must hit the peak age of Al because that walk showed me something. It had a little Stone Cold Steve Austin feeling to it.
Oh, you're talking BMF. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Mark was meaning business on the game against the Giants. Yeah, I know it's the Giants. I know it, but I'm more concerned that my owner looked like he didn't flip the switch, and I like it.
But again,
cigars in the locker room.
But again, but as we have said many a times, again, it's who can understand the pulse of your locker room? Who can understand the pulse of your team? Who can understand and feel the vibe.
Yep.
It seemed like Antonio Pierce understood the vibe and went with the vibe, and hence that's why the culture has changed. Hence that's why they're playing more freely. Now again, like I said, it was an ugly. It was a tough-minded defensive battle.
Ugly game by far. Ugly game by far.
But as they always say, an ugly win is a beautiful win in the NFL because winning in the NFL. Sweet. Just like O'Connell said in the press conference, he said, "I am learning that it is very hard to win in this league," and it is. It is hard to win in this league. So anything that you can possibly get, you take
he's 2-1 right now as a starter.
He is. And like I said, he doesn't get flustered when he throws a pick. He just comes right down and bears down and says, "Okay, well, you know what? Game on." So I mean, that's just it. That's just what happens. So I mean,
he missed Devontae. Him and Devontae Adams came this close or connected on that deep ball. Devontae almost got his hands on that ball.
I really thought he got one. I really thought he got one hand on it. To be honest.
Yeah, I would disagree with you. It was a nice over the shoulder throw. O'Connell put it right where Devontae could slightly get to it.
It looked that way, but but he comes back.
The more work, and the more that they practice together.
Repetition, yes.
It's going to get better. It's definitely going to get better.
More repetition is going to happen. But again, I liked how once again they were trying to establish JJ. They gave JJ the ball. JJ just kept saying, he's going to bust a big one. He did almost lost the ball, but he still
it was a big one.
Busted a big one. But at the end of the day,
but they were getting creative ways to get him the ball, which was nothing that McDaniels was doing. Everything was predetermined. You saw what they were trying to run. I mean, they were throwing the ball on him, running out the backfield. They were trying to. I saw a lot of toss, a few counters. So it's all. I know it's fresh right now and it's looking good, but I just like the direction that they're going. They're establishing an identity.
Yeah,
JJ is the heartbeat. We're gonna try to get him established. We know Devontae Adams is number one. We're going to try to get him his balls, but we're also going to spread the ball around. It was good to see Michael Mayer get a ball. It was good to see they even looked at Renfro's way. So, and I like some of the design plays that they were calling. Some of them didn't work, but you can see that this offensive coordinator is getting creative. He's asking the players what they like to run.
Bo is trying to scheme it to their ability and to what works for them, which almost reminds you of Hugh Jackson when Hugh Jackson was that coach in the OC. What do you like to run? Or what
did he do with Darren McFadden? Darren McFadden had his best year under Hugh. Because why? He went to McFadden. What do you like? Oh, you like them stretch plays? You like a few tosses? Okay, I'll run you inside a little bit. Oh, you screen play? Oh, I can line you up at wide receiver. Oh, you can throw the ball as well too. Altered his playbook around his players, not made the players run certain plays. Like Antonio Pierce said, it's a player-driven league. They go out there and do the plays. That right there won me. You don't hear no coach say that. You really don't hear that.
Well, really, if you are a coach, don't you think that should be the best way to implement your playbook is by seeing what you have on your team and be like, you know what? Hey, come here. What plays work for you? How do I get the best out of your ability? What makes you...
Brother, we've been saying that before we started this show. We were saying that in high school. Well, again, we've been talking sports since this long. We've been saying that since high school. You alter. Yes, you may have the genius, the greatest playbook in the world, but if it's not working for the team that you have, alter that bad boy. Figure out what works and to get you W's. I don't know. That's why we sit here and do a show that our fans hopefully
and
like what we talk about.
and it's not dumbing the scheme. It's not dumbing your play, but
No,
it's okay.
no, not at all.
How can I get the best ability out of this player here? What do I need to call to get him out? Again, when you have Josh Jacobs saying the play sheet that I got, I haven't gotten that since John Gruden was the head coach. And John Gruden hasn't been the head coach for the Raiders for 2 years. And you're running back, which now this is not on Champ Kelly, and this is not on Antonio Pierce. But when the leading rusher from a season ago, whose option did not get picked up by the previous regime that just got fired, I guarantee you now, if Pierce and Kelly are successful, and if Mark does the right thing and takes the tags off, I guarantee you, Champ and JJ are having a conversation about how many years you want. Because now,
so you didn't hear what JJ came out and said then?
Oh, that he wants to talk to him.
Well, he said if it goes in the right direction, which we're talking about, if the tag, like you just said, the tags come off. He said this is the first time where he felt like he wants to come back, or he's wanted.
Okay, well, now.
So when the old regime was there, he was ready just for the year to play out, and he was looking like he was going bye-bye.
He was going bye-bye. Okay.
So with those words that he just said, that with the way it's going right now, this is the first time I felt like I want to come back. So AP is winning the locker room over, which you already knew.
Yes.
You got the players are already, they're basically coming out and saying that they want him as the coach.
Well, I'll say this, and I really truthfully believe this. I really truthfully think if the Raiders finish with a winning record, not saying make the playoffs, if they finish with a winning record, and heck, even if they make the playoffs, which right now there's a chance because again they're at 5-5, they're at 500. Okay.
That Steeler game hurt us. Losing that Steeler game kind of really, really hurt us.
That and the Bears game.
I would even say the Chargers game. I believe the Raiders could easily be 7-6-4, maybe 7-3.
Yeah, possibly.
If certain things go right,
if you finish those games now. Granted, the next two games are not easy. It's the Dolphins, then you're back at home against the Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
But this is not the same Chiefs offense.
No.
This is not the same Chiefs team. But
no.
At the same time, if you somehow can finish above 500 or somehow sneak in to the playoffs, I don't think Mark will make the same mistake of not taking the tag off of AP and Kelly, and he'll let them get in the reins. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think he'll
I feel the same way.
I don't think he'll make that same mistake again. But you know what? I'm not an owner. I just talk sports. But it seems to be in that route. But you know, first things first. Go play the Dolphins and let the chips fall where they may. Now,
yeah.
Switching over to a different sport. Which first off, before we go into that sport, I just want to say, Matt Williams, welcome back home. Pat Burrell,
and Pat
Burrell, welcome back home. Pat Burrell is the new hitting instructor for the Giants under Bob Melvin. And Matt Williams will be waving that big old hand down the third base line where he
third base line. Let's go.
He's playing third base for many years. But also,
let's go.
I'm also glad of the fact that Bob Melvin is keeping Alyssa Nacken on the staff, so she is still part of the coaching staff, which good for her and good for them. So it's not going to be overly staffed like it was under the previous regime with Kapler, because Kapler did have a lot of doggone coaches, but Melvin bringing in his guys, but just it feels right seeing Matt Williams put the Giants orange and black back on again.
Doesn't it?
I don't know
agree.
if he'll have his number 9, which I hopefully he does, because that I mean, I know Brandon Belt
It's
wore number 9
his.
for I know Brandon Belt wore number 9 for many years, but when you think number 9 of the Giants, you think of Matt Williams.
Matt Williams.
Without
Yes.
question. But yes, Pat Burrell coming back to the Giants to be the hitting instructor, who has worked with some of these young prospects in the minor league system and got rave reviews. So hopefully,
Okay.
hopefully he will teach them. It's okay to think opposite field. It's okay to go the other way, and you know what? It's okay to choke up on the bat with 2 strikes and change your approach if you don't, like Mike Kruger always says, 1 to measure, 1 to rake. So, now again, I know they're going to use a little bit of analytics because unfortunately, this is what the game is in all sports.
This is where we're going.
But Bob Melvin is smart enough to see what his eyes are seeing and can ride with the hot hand. So we can see that.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to give some love to them. Because I mean, you know what? It's just great to see that an old school guy comes back home, and hopefully will instill some good stuff to these guys. Because we'll see what happens. I don't want to hear about the Giants being rumored to Shohei Ohtani. I don't see it happening because you're gonna have to overpay for a guy that's not gonna pitch. He's gonna come off of surgery. So I as much as I would love Shohei Ohtani,
it would be nice. It would be nice. It would be nice.
But he's not pitching. He's eventually going to need surgery on his arm, and then who knows if he's going to be the same guy after surgery when he comes back. So basically, you're just paying for him to be a DH, which the Giants have enough of those already to speak of. I still say let Matos and Ramos have a chance to be your everyday outfield going into 24. Yes, I know Conforto has re-signed and opted in to play. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, spring training will be here before we know it because, baseball has the shortest off season, it seems like. But nonetheless, kudos to Bob Elm for bringing back home Matt Williams and Pat Burrell to be a part of his coaching staff in San Francisco. And now we're going to, if I can find the doggone thing, where are you at? Come here. Try. Where? Come here, dadgummit. Okay, now I found what I need to find. Now, as we switch sports. Well, there seems to be more relief in the city of brotherly love when a certain somebody left the nest because he felt like I was not being obligated or used right. And ever since that trade happened, there's been one particular basketball team that has not lost lately. And tonight, one man had a career high, and another guy, well, just does what he does as the 76ers beat the Pacers. But it really has been since one James Harden left the nest. And oddly enough, he goes back to LA to play for the Clippers. And the Clippers have not won a game since they have acquired his services.
Yes.
And
and I love the announcer for the Dallas Mavericks that just ripped him a new one. Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
He killed him with kindness on that rant.
Straight kindness.
If you have so if you have not watched, it was the post-game show for the Mavericks on Bally Sport. Well, Bally Sportsnet is still showing games, even though they have gone bankrupt, and eventually a new regional sports still needs to happen. But and I forgot the gentleman's name.
Yeah, same.
I wish I knew his name,
But
but
rip James Harden a new one though.
he ripped him a new one and basically just said, "You're not the beer, you're not the system. You, sir, are the problem." But what he said made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Left OKC, want to go to Houston, want to Dwight Howard, complain about Dwight Howard, Dwight Howard left. Want to Chris Paul, complain about Chris Paul left. Want to go to Brooklyn, play with Kevin Durant and Kyrie. Not even a year, left again. Wanted to come to Philly because Daryl Morley has a hard on for him. Why? I don't know. Comes to Philly, Embiid wins the MVP. And where were you, James Harden, Game 7? Nowhere to be found. But you could play in the game because you weren't being the guy. Oh, let me go back home to play in LA. Let me go play over us again in the Clippers. And now the Clippers are 0-4. Now, tonight's game, Tyrese Maxey had 50 of them buckets. I'm going to say it again. He had 50 points,
50,
a career high.
50.
And Embiid decides to chip in with 37. And,
30. Just a quiet 37 because Maxey was over there just killing it.
As Philly gets a 137 to 126 win over the Pacers.
Which will make them 8-1, my brother.
That is correct. That is a correct fact. That is a correct fact.
And by the way, hold on. While we're talking about them, they beat Boston while I was on the boat.
Yes, they did.
So that means I guess I don't have to. Excuse me, ship. I mean, it's calling the boat. It's a ship. Excuse me. I guess I don't have to watch this game for them to beat Boston, but it must have been a nail biter because it was 103 to 100. So, but let's get back to the young man Maxey and Embiid's tremendous performance tonight. It was great. It was great.
And also, by the way, Tobias Harris had 18 off, along with Melton's 10, and Batum added 9. So, I mean,
Batum is a sneaky good basketball player. He can come off the bench and give you good quality minutes, and he can score.
Nicholas Batum has been a solid NBA player, and he's had a very solid NBA career. Doesn't matter if it's been with Portland. Doesn't matter if it's been with the Clippers. Yep. He has just been a solid player. But also, I'm glad Obi Toppin's getting some minutes for the Pacers because he didn't get it with the Knicks. He had 14. Miles Turner had 22. Halliburton had 25. Smith had 11 off the bench, but Hill had 16 off the bench. But at the end of the day, Philly gets the win over Indiana. To recap the rest of the NBA that happened on Sunday, the Knicks beat the Hornets 129 to 107. Even though Stephen A would still say, damn it, trade Julius Randle right now. LaMelo Ball had 32 to lead Charlotte. Randle had 23 to lead, and Bird had 24. Brunson had 20. Quickly, the Knicks got some balanced scoring tonight as they improved one game over 500. They're 5-4. Nets beat the Wizards 102-94. As mentioned, the Grizzlies beat the Clippers 105 to 101. Bulls beat the Pistons 119-108. Rockets beat the Nuggets. The Rockets are playing some very good basketball lately. They beat the Nuggets 107-104. The Rockets have won, are now at 6-3. Fred VanVleet had 26 to lead Houston. Jokic had 36 in a losing effort. Denver goes to 8-2. Mavericks beat the Pelicans 126 to 124. Heat beat the Spurs 118 to 113. Thunder, impressive win over Phoenix in the Valley of the Sun 111 to 99. Lakers best the Blazers by 6, 116 to 110, which was the same exact score that the T-Wolves beat the Warriors. Minnesota is up and coming. The T-Wolves off to a good start at 7-2, and I like how they busted out the old Isaiah Ryder, Kevin Garnett jerseys representing the old T-Wolves. But again, Curry was fantastic. I don't know what more he could have done. Had 38, but just could not get no help at all. But again, as we've always said in the Steve Kerr era, then when they turn the ball over, this is what happens.
They don't win.
Head. They have 14 total turnovers. The T-Wolves scored 20 points off those turnovers. And the Warriors out-rebounded the T-Wolves, and they shot better from the free throw line from the T-Wolves, but they just shot horribly. They shot 30% from the floor, 27% from three-point range. But the points in the paint were dominated by the T-Wolves. Anthony Edwards had 33 to lead Minnesota. Karl Anthony Towns, playing to his ability, had 21 and 14. McDaniels at 13, Gobert at 10. Reed and Alexander had 10 off the bench. But, again, Clay had 16, but he struggled shooting the ball. Sarge had 11 off the bench. Kuminga had 10 off the bench. I don't know. It's just when they don't turn the ball over, they win.
Yep. Well, you know what I'm saying? When they run the offense, good things happen.
Yes. Like I said, they're off to a better start. They're playing better on the road. Again, it's all about it's all about for them trying to get into a good position in the playoffs. I really think they don't care about this tournament. Right now, if we were playing the seeding game, they would be the 6th seed. So they wouldn't be playing in the play-in tournament per se. Right now, the Mavericks and the Nuggets have the best record in the West. They both are 8-2, followed by the T-Wolves at 7-2. The Warriors, Thunder, and Rockets all have 6 wins. But now last year for the Warriors, it was play good at home, suck on the road. So far this year, it's been good on the road. They've been second at home. So now it's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with this team.
You just can't win with them, man.
But again, when you have 30, you still have a chance to do some things. So the Warriors play a home and home with the Thunder on Thursday and Saturday, which will not be easy because the Thunders have a very good squad, and they're up and coming. So tomorrow on Monday, only 4 games. You have the Knicks and the Celtics from the parquet floor. You can catch that on NBA TV at 4:30. Wizards and Raptors also same time 4:30. Bucks and the Bulls. The Bucks at 5-4. That's at 5 p.m. And the nightcap is the Cavaliers continuing their West Coast trip against the Kings, and they give the Cavaliers 2.5. So the Kings and Cavaliers and the Knicks and Celtics you can both catch on NBA TV for those that want to watch. Tomorrow night's game.
And that setup for the Kings in their arena is hideous. I just want to throw that out there.
What their court?
Yeah, their court little setup is pretty hideous.
Are you talking about for the playing tournament?
Yeah.
I have not seen it. There's a lot of the courts that I think are freaking hideous.
I agree. The Thunder for number 1. And not trying to be biased with this, but the Warriors one was dope. The black and the gold. And they wore the San Francisco jerseys. Now, see, they got it right. They didn't go overboard. Kept it simple. Sheesh.
I don't know. I mean, it makes no sense to me.
None at all.
Because I'm just like
altering the floor like that is not going to get more people in the seats.
No.
Start winning some damn games, and that'll keep that. The jump back real quick. So the Allegiant Stadium was 77% Raider fans in there. So
yeah, there really wasn't a lot of green in the stadium today.
So basically, they made a statement. We're not going to come here and watch McDummy coach yourself out of porta potty, put some quality football on the field, win or lose, and we'll come support. So,
okay, now I'm looking at some of these. The Atlanta Hawks, no. The Celtics, why? Barclays is going to be Barclays, so that's not
It's not shocking.
it's not shocking. Charlotte's not too bad.
No.
The Bulls, I can understand all that red, so that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the Mavs and the Cavaliers actually look pretty decent.
Indeed, I agree.
The Nuggets look decent. Detroit's
Yep.
looks decent. Of course, the
Yeah.
Warriors are the Warriors. I like Houston's.
Yes.
The Pacers, no. The LA sports teams, no comment. But the Lakers but the Lakers one makes sense. It matches their color scheme.
Yes. Yes,
I
it
do
does.
I do like Miami's and I do like Memphis's.
Yes. Yes.
The Bucks, what the heck? I like the Timberwolves.
Agreed.
The Pelicans look like the Joker's colors.
Mhm.
Yes, the Thunder's what? I like Orlando's.
Yes.
Phillies is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix makes sense with the desert. Love
Mm-hmm.
Portland's.
Yes.
I can't get jiggy with the Spurs. The Raptors is nice. The Jazz makes sense. The Wizards, what the hell? Now, I like the King's symbol in the center court, but I don't get with the gray and the
Yes,
blue.
that's not bad, but everything else surrounding it, that's no.
No. The Knicks, it makes sense with their color scheme, but I mean, okay. First off, I gotta go back to the Suggs because I'm just like, why the hell are you gonna disrespect the parquet floor? Why?
Right.
Now, with that said, the NBA Cup trophy does look good. It's a nice looking trophy. It is,
But it doesn't actually mean nothing.
and I agree wholeheartedly, 1,000%. I agree, but
It holds no
I'm just
title.
I'm just
I'm-
but these color schemes and no, why?
I'm
Like
right behind you, brother.
like why are you going to disrespect the parquet? When you think Boston Celtics, you think parquet floor. That's all you think. That's the first thing that comes to mind is the parquet floor. No, I can't
That
get
good glistening
jiggy.
floor.
I can't get jiggy with that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Times are changing, brother. We just
I
gotta
know.
adapt.
I know. Doesn't mean I have to like it. I accept the
Oh,
times are changing.
You already know how I feel about certain things.
So later on tonight, we do have the Bills. Or it's not even midnight yet. We still have 2 minutes on
Well, you
Sunday.
know,
What?
yeah,
Anyhow,
it's
Monday
okay.
night we got
On the East
Monday night
Coast, we're
on the
we're reaching
on
out to our
on the
East Coast
yeah.
followers. So
The East Coast does have is Monday, but we do have the Bills and the Broncos in Orchard Park, New York, which means a lot of plunder will be broken. A lot of Bills Mafia will be going through tables. And
yeah,
I just think the Bills have enough offense. I don't think the Broncos have enough offense to score. And I just think
I
this is
think the
a
Bills are
get
going to
back.
make a statement. This would be a statement game for the Bills.
I agree. I agree with that.
Even though the Broncos have been playing, as I much hate to say this, and I'm glad I got a little something in my cup, they've been playing slightly decent.
They have.
They're playing competitive, but I agree with you. I think the Bills just got too much.
Well, I'll say this. I think this is where Stephon Diggs goes off and just has a Monday night performance for the ages. I definitely like the Bills to play and win this game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just my interpretation on it. And that's just my take. Now, college basketball has started. What is your honest take on your beloved Tar Heels this upcoming season?
Well, they really ain't played nobody in these two games, so it's kind of I I'm gonna look at them here later on while I got these off days till I get back to work and see the 2 games they played. No, they didn't really play nobody, but all we just got to do is play North Carolina basketball. You know, run the offense, rebound, excuse me, and just protect the ball. That's pretty simple for every team that plays basketball, but we live and die on our big men. And now we're starting to shoot the 3 a little bit more. But offensive and just getting a rebound is what keeps us in games and making those nice and going on those nice runs and making those big shots when the big shots are needed. So I just expect Hubert Davis to just continue to do what he's been doing and hopefully get back to how his first year was when we did. Did we make it to the Final Four or the Sweet 16? Where did we get?
I want to say the Final Four.
Yes.
Yeah. Final
I think
Four,
in the first year he got to the Final Four. So, no, we were in the championship game.
You might not be. You might not be wrong.
I know we beat. No, I think it was Final Four because I know that we beat Duke, and that was like, yeah. So just play North Carolina basketball, and we'll be all right. It's gonna be tough. It ain't gonna be easy because college basketball ain't that easy. But just continue to play North Carolina basketball. I think we'll be all right. We got the right players in place. We'll be okay.
Well, as it always, beat Duke, and your season can
always and forever. Forget the Cameron crazies. We got the better looking blue anyway.
Unbelievable. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let's see here now. What is? No. You got to the final. You got to the national championship game. You lost by 3 to Kansas.
Yes. So yeah, and that was a hell of a game because I had the credit card ready.
Yeah, you beat Duke in the Final Four to deny them a chance to go to the final game. So yes, that was the
we shut Coach K last year.
Yeah, that was the 2021-2022 season.
That was right.
The last season, 2022-2023, didn't make the postseason. Still got the 20 wins, but did not make the postseason. Yeah. So
it was ugly that year.
And then this season, played 1 game, you win that game. So
2. We're 2-0.
2-0. Okay. So still got Bacot, RJ Davis, Ryan as your seniors, along with Wojak, Withers, your other senior team with Ferris, Landry, and Lebo. Not a lot of lower class. We got 3 sophomores and 2 freshmen and 1 junior. So this is, for the most part, a very experienced team.
Yeah. Well, that's what wins our championships. Remember when everybody came back the 1 year with Tyler Hansborough?
Yes.
And everything, so North Carolina wins with their veterans, and they bring up the young guys. They mold them. I wouldn't say mold is a strong word. Excuse me. They just get there. They see how it's done. This is what how the upperclassmen does. This is how North Carolina.
The Tar Heel way, and I get that.
The Tar Heel way, yes.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, I think we've covered everything.
We sure did.
And
if you're up to it, I am off Monday Night Football. We can, depending on what I think I've spent enough time with the wife. I can do another. I put in the time. I think we might all want to be in our 4 corners. No, on some real stuff. We were a week. Not saying that's not in a bad way, but to come home, you want to relax. You want to go in your 4 corners. You want to go in your 4 corners for a little bit. I mean, of course, I'm gonna watch the TV shows. We're gonna catch up on our TV shows. But around football time, if you ain't busy, we can be live.
I am not going nowhere, and we possibly could go live during Monday Night Football between the Bills and the Broncos. Possibly do our own Manning cast, for lack of a better term. And no,
I'm down for that.
And no, we will not be feeding Lulu any food on the air like Arnold was feeding Lulu on the Manning Cat.
I knew you would love that when I sent it to you. I knew it. I
I was
knew
like,
it.
I'm
I
like
knew it.
Lulu, Lulu,
I knew it.
Arnold feeding his ass on live TV, the gift that keeps
It's
on
classic.
giving.
It's
But
classic.
before we say so long for now, thoughts and prayers to the family of DJ Hayden, who
Oh
tragically,
man, you beat me to it, and I love it. Don't know, no,
who
perfect.
tragically lost his life in a car accident. 33 years old, too damn young.
Too young, too
Of
damn
course,
young.
was drafted by the Raiders in 2013, I believe.
And let's wait before we get to that. He beat near death because of his what is it, his heart when he was at the University of Houston. Didn't
Yes,
something happen when he was on?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he and not to say that this is the Reaper coming to get him now, but just 30, he already went through something, and just to go out like the way he did with that's
Yeah, so prayers to him and his family, which is 33 is just too damn young. But
yeah.
our
And
thoughts to him.
speedy recovery. Not that it's not. I'm trying not to put that on the same level, but let's get a get well speedy recovery for Kelly Oubre Jr. He
Yes,
was also in a car accident that he avoided the same situation that that DJ Hayden went through. So let's just get a speedy recovery out there for Kelly Oubre, who's been playing some tremendous basketball. So this is bigger than basketball with Kelly Oubre right now, and the same thing with DJ Hayden. It's bigger than football.
and
But
also
yeah,
I would be remiss if we didn't mention him because I think we forgot to mention him. But the game of basketball back on the first lost an icon in Robert Montgomery Knight, uh, better known as the
yeah,
General Bobby Knight, of course,
five night,
who
yeah,
who won 902 games, which at the time he was number one, but now he is sixth all time, which he was passed by his protege, who he coached at Army in Coach K. Coached Army, was an assistant, of course. His legendary career in Indiana, then finished off his career at Texas Tech, three times, won the national championship, all in Indiana. And as it remains, Indiana is still the last team to go an entire season undefeated. That team went 32-0 in the 1975-1976 season, which culminated in the Indiana Hoosiers winning the national title, beating Michigan 11 times. He won the Big Ten regular season title, won the NIT title 2 times, was an Olympic gold medalist as a head coach.
the resume is just ridiculous.
Yeah, the resume is outstanding, but wanted to give him his flowers. And of course, he had said so many times that MJ is the GOAT. He has said that in many multiple interviews. So again, it's just tremendous. But certainly want to send our condolences to the Knight family and every Indiana Hoosier and Texas Tech and Army Gold 9 player that ever played for him. Kudos to you, or prayers and thoughts to you, because I know how much the General meant to a lot of people. I just remember the first time he came back to Indiana at Freedom Hall and just the rousing ovation he got. And then you saw Dick Vitale clapping for his friend and almost had tears in his eyes, which was a very, very, very moving moment. So I want to give our thoughts to him. And now I think that has covered everything.
It has.
My man's is back from his trip. Enjoyed himself, got himself some gifts, got himself to enjoy the thing on the cruise. To our viewers that popped in and popped out, we thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to our Mizzle and Dub Show page on YouTube and
which
we
do have a new subscriber, by the way.
Oh well,
let's see if I can. It's Vargas. I believe Vargas is the last name that I saw. So to the new subscriber, thank you very much. We do appreciate that.
It might be my old boss Joe Vargas, and if that is JV,
that is it. That is
yes,
that's exactly the name.
Yes, that is my former boss. So yes, thank you JV for subscribing. We appreciate you. So again, we will come back on tomorrow live during Monday Night Football, and hell, we'll even preview Week 11 while we're doing the game, and give our picks right then and there for Week 11. Well, it is officially Victory Monday for his team and my team. So, Victory Monday indeed is in fact happening, which is a good thing. But special thanks to our Super Dope Beat Maker for making this beat on
yes.
the outro.
Yes.
Which I gotta let them know there's some more shows that won't have their beats made for their show.
He's up right now in the lab right now, so you might want to text him.
I don't doubt that one bit. But anyhow, good to see my co-host, my brother, back from his rejuvenated trip from being on the cruise ship, being on the Love Boat, where everything is shiny and new. But big win for the Sixers. Bears get their fifth win. They're 5-5. Niners go to 6-3, maintaining their first place possession in the NFC West. We will see what happens tonight between the Broncos and the Bills on Monday Night Football. But for now, episode number 127 of the Mizzle and Dub Show is in the books. He is Mizzle. I am Dub. And as always, it's 12:05 o'clock. Some damn where. And you've been watching